Hi, I'm Kyla for those of you who are new here, and in today's video we are going to be reacting to and discussing a MLM rep who had quite a lot to say about the anti-MLM community and one creator in particular. So before we get into that, I'm just going to pop my Instagram up here like I always do. It will also be linked down below. And I just quickly want to say I'm sorry if the lighting is a little bit off. It's only my second time using a ring light because I usually film early enough in the day that it is still bright out and I don't need to use it. It is 4:30 right now. It is getting kind of dark out already, so I have to use the ring light. So if it's a little bit like wonky or too bright, it looks good to me, but it's kind of hard to tell. And I also have it a little bit more warm, so just let me know if you don't like that. But anyways, we will get into it. And I also have my 4 o'clock coffee here, which I'm hoping doesn't translate to just anxiety because I've already had a coffee today. Usually I just have like 1, sometimes 2, but we'll see how it goes. And with that being said, I will just kind of get into it. So this video is a reaction to an MLMer named Mary. I'm not going to give like full detail or her Instagram handle or anything just because I don't want to attract unnecessary attention that she might not want. But you might have already heard of her, which is why I'm giving you her name. And I'm not going to blur her face just because this was a pretty public video. And of course, she's directing it to anti-MLM content creators for the purpose of using, basically. Like she even said, share it and tag them. So I don't really feel too bad about doing that. But basically, this is an MLMer who basically did a live video reacting to an anti-MLM creator, Chelsea or CC Suarez. Sorry if I pronounced the last name wrong there. But I'm sure you know her, super popular. Her content is awesome. And basically, CC reacted to someone that was in this MLMer, Mary's downline. And Mary didn't like what she had to say about it, obviously. And then CC, of course, also made a video reacting to the MLMer that we are going to be talking about today. So I will link her video on that down below. Just to kind of give a little backstory. So CC herself said that if someone presents as a public figure, puts themselves out there in that specific way, or for example, if they have like the tag on Instagram how you can put like entrepreneur, content creator, public figure, stuff like that. If someone has that in their bio, she doesn't feel bad like not blurring their faces or anything like that. And to be honest, I agree with that. Like if someone presents as a public figure, to me it seems fair. Like they've put themselves out there for the public, so it's fair enough to kind of include them. I've sort of been doing that myself just because it just sort of makes the most sense. And the other thing is she says it kind of makes sense to her because obviously if these are public figures, people need to know who to look out for, and I agree with that 100%. And she did also say herself, so I didn't watch all of CC's video before recording this just because I wanted to kind of look at it unbiased. Obviously I'm going to be a little bit biased because I'm anti-MLM as well, so I'm typically probably going to lean more towards agreeing with CC than I would with an MLMer. That's just kind of seems obvious. But in general, I didn't want to just end up accidentally regurgitating a lot of the same points she made. So for that purpose, I didn't watch her whole video. But I did watch the beginning just to kind of get an insight into what sparked all of this. And CC said that she admitted herself she does sometimes point out things like someone's teeth, their eyebrows, stuff like that, for how their makeup is done. And personally, I don't have an opinion on that. It's not necessarily something that I do in my videos, but it's totally up to her what she wants to include in her videos. No one gets to say whether or not she can do that, and they don't have to like it either. I feel like sort of besides the point. But what she was saying is that MLMers will hang on to like that one thing she said and completely jump over and avoid all of the actual points, facts, receipts, everything that she brought up. And they'll just hang on to the one thing that she said that they don't like. Personally, I could totally see that because I've even had that happen with myself. I also agree with Cece's point in the beginning of her video where she said that she herself puts herself out there as a public figure and as a creator. And so she understands that with that comes sometimes criticism, people leaving hate comments, mean comments, just kind of commenting on things in general, which is obviously not something that like the average person is subject to. And I agree with that as well. Like for me personally, it wouldn't bother me if someone made a video about me. I probably wouldn't watch it just because I don't know, why bother? It doesn't bother me if people want to do that because I've actively chosen to put myself out there. And unfortunately, we live in a world where public figures are subject to scrutiny. They're subject to critique and criticism. And that's just, it is what it is. And you know that before doing it. Like I've known ever since I started posting YouTube videos that if my videos get popular enough, I'm going to get mean comments. It's not usually when your videos are small, like typically people don't bother. But when you're a large creator and they think you won't see it, people do say rude stuff. And that's just kind of part of it. So I definitely agree with CC in saying that when you put yourself out there as a public figure, you do have to expect a certain level of that back. Obviously, it doesn't make it right or okay for people to just say shitty things for no reason or just for the sake of being mean. But it's just something that you know happens. But anyways, all of that to say, it's just a preface to the video that we'll be reacting to, which I'm gonna start to play here in a second, where this MLMer put up a video trying to defend direct sales and network marketing. So I'm gonna play the video here now. I wrote a ton of notes about this just because it is a really, sorry, I'm just trying to get comfy. I wrote a ton of notes about this just because it is kind of a longer video. So I am going to be pausing maybe kind of randomly. I don't know. I just have a ton of notes, but I didn't really write down where to pause. So I'm going to play it, and yeah, that's that on that.
I so took a drink right when I pressed go live. Bad idea. Whew, I'm shaking. I'm like shaking. I have had quite the morning. Waking up to comments in my inbox, or not in my inbox, actually, they didn't even write me to my inbox. Comments all over my page, all over Facebook, that were so disgusting that I was like, you know what? Something has got to be said. And this is not about my company. This is actually, if you are in direct sales, this is a great, thing for you to share with your teams, because I'm just going to actually defend direct sales for a minute. I'm kind of nervous because it's nerve-wracking. Okay, so I woke up this morning. My usual morning of, doing my daily devotionals, praying. I kind of felt a little stirring in my heart. And I go to look at Facebook, and, actually my alerts were fine. I wasn't alerted by anything, except somebody had commented on one of my posts that was my friend's, and they said something in response to somebody else. And I was like, what's going on here? Well, I go and look at the post, and I see all this hate comments, like anti-direct sales, anti-MLM, but it wasn't just anti-MLM or anti-direct sales. Those I can handle. Those type of things I can handle. I don't mind if somebody does not agree with what I'm doing or what my team is doing. I don't mind at all. I don't always agree with what Bill Gates is doing. I don't always agree with, there's a lot of people I don't agree with. But I'm not going to go and pick apart their looks, pick apart their personality, anything like that. Well, these people start picking parts of me out. Just a second ago, somebody wrote on my profile about Botox and whatnot, just to try to stir my heart, try to make it so that I would respond in a negative way. Okay. I don't mind if somebody picks me apart. Hey, Cece Suarez, whatever your name is, you can pick me apart all day long. Go for it, girl. But the moment that you pick apart my team is the moment I'm coming after you.
Okay, I'm gonna pause there really, really fast just to touch on the beginning. So the first thing I wanna say is she said that it's not just about her company, and that she's not just defending her company or her team, but rather direct sales as a whole. And that's fine, but I just find it interesting because, what other industry do the employees or the workers of that industry have to go to bat for this hard? And then she said she's not gonna pick apart their looks while these people start picking parts of me out. But I just want to say to that, literally not all of us do that. Yes, some people probably do, but it is sort of, to me, it seems a little bit biased to lump everyone together and to say that that's all anti-MLM is, because you're really watering it down to something that it isn't. I don't say anything negative about people's looks in my videos at all, ever. I don't do it. And I'm just speaking for myself here, but personally, I never would, just because I don't feel like I need to. I have enough to discuss and talk about without swinging low. And then she says, and this is the last thing before we keep watching, but she says, you can pick me apart all day long, but the moment you come for my team, I'm coming for you. And I just want you to keep that in your back pocket for later. I'm not going to touch on it a whole lot right now, but just keep in mind what she said there. But anyways, we will keep watching.
So today, as I'm getting uploaded, I'm getting overloaded with all these anti-MLM people all over my posts, I also get a message from a teammate that says, oh, well, there was a video made of one of our teammates, and the girl basically goes and she takes her video of her just sharing, you know, her heart, what it is that she loves about Vic, what it is she's doing here, how she's excited, how she is, you know, doing things that she really, and she as a Christian, she loves Jesus. She feels called to this. This girl goes on. She has a massive following, no joke. Like, she already has 24,000 views on this video. And she goes on. First of all, she starts talking about my teammates' looks. She doesn't come with facts. She doesn't come with grace. She doesn't come with heart. She starts talking about her looks, how she sounds, what, you know, like every little detail about what she looks like, or how she sounds, or that Jesus, how she's so Christian, and all these mean, nasty, disgusting things, right? Then she goes on and picks that apart for a good 45 minutes. If anybody saw that video, you definitely know the video. So today, as I'm looking through this girl's stuff, I actually had followed her for a while because I saw her pick on somebody else a long time ago, and I was like, whew, I don't want to be that person. I like watch these anti-MLMers, and I think, okay, what should I say to not be in their eyes? What should I say to not be in their view? Well, guess what? I'm obviously going to be in their view because they've decided to pick apart my page today. So go ahead, send this to the CC Suarez, whoever, tag her, make sure she knows that, you know what, pick on direct sales. Go pick on, say you're anti-MLM, say that you don't like direct sales, but one, you're making money off of your nasty videos. You're making money off of the views that you're getting by the hate that you're creating on YouTube. How is that not scamming people? You're taking people and putting them under a microscope, calling them names, doing disgusting things. And this isn't just about my company. I saw her do it with Jessie Lee. I've seen her do it with Monet. I've seen her do it with many companies. You go through and you see all the things that she says, and she can't be reported because of her following and all this stuff. And she does a disclaimer in the beginning and all that. Nothing can be done, whatever. The fact is, the girl's making money off of the videos and off of the views that she gets on YouTube. So what does she do? She cuts people down. She trashes them. She makes them feel unworthy. She gets a lot of comments that are actually worse than the actual video. And she just sits back and laughs and makes money and makes fun of people. And so, you know, today, as I started thinking about this and as I started to get really upset, it wasn't, I could care less if you're on my page and you're destroying me. Like, to me, like, go talk trash, talk about my looks, talk about what I've created, talk about, you know, if you don't believe I'm a Christian and love Jesus, you know what? Good thing you're not Jesus, because he knows who I am and he knows what I'm about.
Okay, just gonna pause there again quickly because I know I didn't let her say a whole lot, but I have a lot to say. She's saying that Cece has a massive following and she goes on and just like trashes this other girl's looks. Again, I didn't see that video, but she then says, this MLMer says, she doesn't come with facts or grace. She just goes on about how she looks and how she sounds and how she's so Christian and all these mean, nasty things for 45 minutes, which I find it hard to believe that anyone would watch a video that was just 45 minutes of her bashing someone's look. And I also know that in Cece's videos, she always does come in with the facts and receipts as well. So I find that to be a little bit of a reach probably, but nonetheless. She then goes on to say, I followed her for a while and I've watched anti-MLMers to see what I should say to not be in their eyes. So basically to say like, what should I do to not piss them off, not to be in one of these videos. Now that's interesting because to me, I feel like she did say that just to make us sound like monsters and that we're something to be feared. But I actually don't think that this is like the worst take ever. Obviously, we don't think people should be in MLMs, or if anything, we think that they should just shut down at least the MLM side, or if not, shut down altogether. Black Oxygen, Organics, and Paparazzi. But while the companies are operational, there will always be people working in them. So if that is the case, and if there is going to be people in MLMs, I think they can do it in a way that is less predatory. And by MLMers looking at anti-MLM content, that could actually be a way for them to learn how to be less predatory or less pushy while they're in their network marketing company. And I do always say this, but I'm anti-MLM, not anti-MLMer. I'm against the companies and the predatory practices and the way that the companies don't stop any of the bad practices that their consultants do. But I'm not against the people individually. It's never personal with me. I've said that before. And then she says, go ahead and pick on direct sales. You're making money off your nasty videos and the hate you're creating on YouTube. How is that not scamming people? And with that, I'm just a bit confused. Like, very clear that this is her view on anti-MLM as a whole. A lot of times she does just say anti-MLMers, so she's not just speaking about CC with this. And here's the thing is, like, I've said this before, but it doesn't have to be nasty or negative. Like, anything could be made nasty or negative if you look at it in a negative light. But in fact, like, most times anti-MLM is super, super positive. We're connecting with like-minded people who have the same thoughts and opinions as us. And we're connecting with people who have been in similar situations or who felt like a failure for not succeeding in their MLM, who can connect with us and say, like, it wasn't me, it was the company, and it's not all my fault, and I'm not just a failure. I didn't just not work hard enough, which to me, I think is a really positive thing. Like, I can connect with people who've been let down with these companies in the same way that I have, or the same way that I've seen done to people. The other thing is that, like, what do MLMers have to defend if they don't think they're doing anything wrong? People can do MLMs and be super, super pushy and persuasive and manipulative and cold messagey, but they don't have to. And if they feel like they need to be defensive when anti-MLM people are speaking about that, it's probably because the shoe fits. And like, even for as an example now, she's calling out anti-MLM and like looping everything together as a whole. But for me, I'm personally really not upset by it because I know that what she's saying doesn't apply to me. I know I don't go on my videos and bash people's appearances or say mean things. So I'm not worried about it because this doesn't apply to me. And honestly, most times I actually have like nothing but praises to share about people's looks, just because a lot of the people in MLMs are gorgeous. Like, people follow them for a reason. It's just like influencers you see on Instagram, you know, they're all stunning and living in beautiful houses and doing fun stuff. And a lot of the time they're absolutely gorgeous. So I have nothing but nice things to say about how they look. It's more so what they're doing that I'm critiquing. And I also find it interesting to call it a scam that she's making hate videos that people are watching and that's how she makes her money. Because, like, how can you say it's a scam when people don't have to pay into it or anything? Like, people know what they're clicking on when they read the title of the video. And it's also just a weird take because, well, yes, anti-MLMers typically make money from their content. Like, I make money from my YouTube videos. Obviously, CC does too. The viewer doesn't have to pay a cent. So like I said, it's very obvious when I post a video what it's about. I have the thumbnail and it typically has text regarding what the video is about. My title, my description, my tags. Like, it's very, very evident what my video is about. But on top of that, viewers don't pay anything to watch it. So if they don't like it, they can click out and leave and they haven't lost a thing except for maybe a couple minutes of their time if they decide they don't like the video. So it really can't be a scam. And then she says that she, like, this is regarding to CC, she says she can't be reported or anything because of her following and because she puts a disclaimer in the beginning of the video. And again, that's just not accurate. She can't be reported because she didn't do anything wrong. But anyways, we'll keep watching.
I could care less what you talk about with me. But the sad part is that you're going through each person and it's not even about direct sales anymore. You're going and making them feel like they look bad. Like, who are you to talk about somebody's eyebrows? Who are you to talk about somebody's voice? Who are you to talk about, you know, how somebody's wearing extensions? Who are you to talk so ugly about somebody without even knowing who they are and what they're about? Like, to me, I'm not here to go and you know, I could have gone on your YouTube video and said, oh, I don't even know. I'm not even going to go there. But you know, anybody could have gone and done that. But the fact is, you're not coming with valuable facts. Somebody had just said to me on even a comment, well, the fact is that we stand up for that you guys are predators and that MLM people are predators, and so that we are standing up against hate. We hate you guys because you're predators. Okay. If we are predators, I ask you to really think about that for a second and think about what you're talking about and how that's being a predator. If anything, it's actually you being a predator by coming and trying to find my posts or find my team's posts or find anybody in direct sales posts and bash them. That is what is you're preying on us. You're preying on direct sales people, what they're doing, their business model. But the fact is, if I went and opened up my own company, Smack, like I did, and I hired people to work hourly, but they couldn't build a direct sales team, they couldn't make anything but an hourly wage, you would be like high-fiving me. Good job. That's awesome. Great. But yet they're not even making the amount of money they could make if they would go and sell the product in a direct sales company. So to me, I'm like, wait, which one really is a predatory company? I mean, you think about it, yes, not to put down anybody that's doing anything for an hourly wage, but when you really think and examine what people are preying on, it's not about, hey, you're going to go and be a millionaire or anything like that. We sell products, we build our teams, we build the company, and we build community, and we love people. And the fact is this is my missions field. This isn't just about the business or the company. This is about serving others, locking arms, whether they're with my company or not. So when I see you bashing a Jesse Lee or Dakota or Montana, or, I could go and name a whole bunch of people on this live right now that are not with Vic Beauty. When you go and you prey on those people, you're preying on me, you're preying on others, and you're making it so that people feel invaluable. And the fact is you messed with the wrong person. You messed with the wrong people. And I just think about it this way. If you would have said that.
Okay, again, another quick pause there. Just touch on the last little bit. So the main thing I want to touch on there really quickly before we move on is how she said that if she started her own business, or maybe she said she did, I kind of couldn't catch it there, but she said if she started her own business where she paid people an hourly wage and they couldn't make anything but an hourly wage, we would be high-fiving her, and they're not even making the amount that they could make if they did it in direct sales. And to that I will say, yes, I would congratulate you if you started a business and you were able to hire on employees and pay them an hourly wage, because obviously that's a sign of enough profit to hire people on. I would congratulate that, yeah. But the difference with that is that when people are hired on at an hourly wage, they're guaranteed a paycheck. It's completely different than their paycheck being solely dependent on recruiting people. And if they don't make anything. And sure, they ultimately could make more in an MLM. There's not technically a cap, just like with an hourly wage there is technically. But that's not what MLMs are. Sure, they could make way more than that hourly wage, but unfortunately in MLMs in general, and I'll pop up some various just income disclosure statements from all different companies, all different types, just to demonstrate this, 90 to 99% of people are barely making anything. Maximum typically $400 or $500 a year for the largest percent of the company. And that is significantly less than a regular job's minimum wage. So Vic Beauty, I couldn't find a chart for. I'm assuming this is because they just reopened. I think they were under a different name a while back, but they just reopened, I think just last year in 2021, which means they probably don't have a proper income disclosure statement out, and they probably will this year. I did see, if you scroll on their website and scroll all the way down under income disclosure, if you click on that, there's a little paragraph and it says, based on industry standards and company projections, the average annual gross revenue for distributors is projected to be between $500 and $2,000. So yeah, $500 to $2,000. That's not a lot per year. So annual, their yearly salary, not monthly. Now, again, people probably will make above that, just like a lot of people will probably make below that, hence why it's an average. They're projecting some people above, some people below. But let's say, so $500 to $2,000, let's say you work part-time even. So not even full-time, let's say you do this part-time. Google says part-time work is 30 to 35 hours in America. I'm Canadian, but I'm looking up America because that's where this is all occurring. But for me, that's way more than part-time is. Like where I live, I work part-time, for example. I do 10 to 15 hours a week max. So let's say you work 10 hours a week at this business, right? 10 hours, 52 weeks a year, that's 520 hours a year, which is not a lot to work. And obviously if you're gonna make it in an MLM where you're not making anything, you're probably gonna be putting in way more hours than that, especially at the beginning. So I'll be generous. It equals out to, if you're working 10 hours a week, 520 hours a year. But let's say you took a couple of days off within that year and you worked 500 hours that year. But let's say you worked in your MLM for 500 hours a year. If you make $500 in that year, your wage was literally $1 an hour. So you would definitely be way better off at that hourly wage job. Even if you made the maximum end of their average at $2,000 per year, and you worked 500 hours that year, your wage is $4 an hour. So just to compare that, because I did the math and I wrote it down here, if you worked 500 hours a year at a regular minimum wage job, which I Googled, the average minimum wage in America is $7.25. I think it varies per state, and then I'm in Canada, so mine is gonna be obviously different, but I'm pretty sure their income disclosure is in US dollars, so I wanted to use US minimum wage to be fair and not biased. If you worked 500 hours a year at minimum wage in America at $7.25 an hour, you would end off the year with a yearly salary of $3,625. So obviously still not a lot at all, definitely not enough to live off of, but you know exactly what you're signing up under, and that's if you only work 10 hours a week and took 20 hours off, which is unlikely, but you're still, even that, you're better off working the wage job. Anyways, we'll keep watching. I just wanted to touch on that bit really quick.
I just think about it this way. If you would have said the things that you said to my friend Christy, who has the amazing heart, and honestly, I'm so glad that she's in the mindset that she is. If you would have said that to a person that was on the verge of suicide, that was not feeling good about themselves, that was broken, that was hurting, you could have killed somebody that day. And I'm not joking. And that to me is the most disgusting part about these anti-MLMers. So you can go and hashtag your couch, hashtag your sofa, hashtag whatever you want to go and do. Get your people in here. You are preying on the people that are hurting and hoping to break them down and hurt them even more. And that is where I get disgusted. And that is where I have to speak up. Go ahead. Talk all you want to me. Talk all you want. But the fact is you didn't go after just a person that was a top leader, this CC girl. You went after a person that was, I mean, she's an astounding leader. She has been a top leader. She's she's super strong. He didn't go after her though because of that. You thought, oh, she might be a weaker one because she's so excited or whatever. Or fact is you just made her business flourish because you're bringing people to her. You're bringing people to her eyes. And guess what? She is beautiful. Her eyebrows are perfect. Her voice is perfect. She has an amazing gift to serve others. And she loves Jesus with all her heart. And to me, you do not know who you're going after. And I literally sat here like thinking, okay, should I go live about this? Should I go live about this? And I'm waiting for these people. Obviously, they're not going to come on here today to be like, oh, talk trash, because they're just going to sit there. You guys are being keyboard warriors. That girl would never say that to my face or say it to your face. That's the funny thing is like these people feel like they can create these videos to make it, or create, type what they want, talk all the trash they want, say these things to be a keyboard warrior. But fact is, girl, I'll give you my phone. You never even wrote my inbox. Like the people that went, of course, and they boosted my algorithm. High five to you. But fact is, you never even messaged me personally to talk to me and say, hey, I don't really stand for what you're doing, or I don't, get it, or I don't understand it. You never even gave me a chance to even defend myself or anybody else that has been hit by these people. You just want to go and bash them. And then you get all of your swarms of people to do the same thing and like your comment 100 times to make it look like, oh, everybody agrees with you. Nobody agrees with you. Nobody agrees with you. No, none of your fake accounts or fake people agree with you. It's basically disgusting. And so I don't know what I wanted to get on here to say. I mean, like what my point was. But at the same time, I came on here to basically just stand up and say, as direct sales, I have a lot of people that are in direct sales as friends that I love and I cherish. And I do believe that we need to stand up against this. I don't care what team you're on. I don't care what company you're with. I don't care what you're doing. But I do think that we've been punched enough. We have been bullied enough by people that don't believe in this industry, that I think it's time to make a stand, to stand up together and say, no, we're not going to allow you to talk like that. I'm not on Jessie Lee's team. I'm not a part of Monat. I'm not a part of all the companies that she did. But guess what? I'm standing up for those companies because you want to know what? Those companies are sister companies. I care for them. I care for those people. And I care that when somebody gets trashed on and they get brought to light and spoken about and basically taken, I mean, go ahead, talk about whatever you want with me. Go ahead, do it. And the fact is that's what they don't even pick on the industry. They're picking on vulnerable spots that person could have and deepening them and making them insecure. And I'm so tired of the bullying and people making others feel insecure. So if you're just hopping in, you're going to have to watch the replay because I did just go off like crazy. I'm going to read through the comments really quick because I didn't. I saw some people commenting, but I was just, I had to spit it out. I was frustrated. I was angry. I'm one of those that like, Jesus, take the wheel. But when you mess with somebody, you mess with my kids, you mess with my team, you mess with my company, you mess with other people, that's when I get angry. I'm going to look through these comments. They don't know that Walmart is a pyramid. Of course. Like, that's a weird thing. The whole thing is so icky that you look at companies, there's going to be, and here's one other thing I did want to say. I do understand that some people have been burnt by companies.
Okay. So she gets to talking about how if someone was in a worse off mental state that, that could have really hurt them or it could have really been harmful and dangerous. And I actually do agree with that. But I would say at the same time, that isn't anyone else's responsibility. And I know that probably sounds really shitty, but like, let me explain. So in general, I completely agree. Like, bullying and saying hateful things is not okay, and I don't think it ever should be okay in any circumstance. And you don't fight fire with fire either. Like, if you think someone's being crappy, you don't have to go and be crappy back to them. But I will say in general, at the same time, when someone puts themselves out there as a public figure, they do put themselves out there for criticism. And I don't think that it's the responsibility of anyone else to know where they're at mentally and to decide not to critique them. If what they're doing is worth criticizing, then people are allowed to do that. And like, obviously that's not me saying, oh, well, it's fair game because they put themselves out there to bully them and harass them. Like, I definitely, like I said, do not condone that. And I agree with her. You never know where someone's at. So it is important to think about what you're going to say before you say it, especially if you are critiquing someone and think, is this personal or not? But at the same time, like, I just don't think that it is someone's responsibility to not call out actions that they see as wrong just because the person might be in a bad place. And then again, she's just saying like about all these anti-MLMers, which again, I just find it interesting because they don't all want to be looped into one category, but then they do that to anti-MLMers too, basically saying that we all do the same stuff when that's just not true. And then she says, you'd never come on my live and say it to my face. And it's like, I mean, personally I would, but I'm weeks late to seeing this, so I'm a little late. And then I will say with that too, I have seen some anti-MLMers, like Isabella Lanter, for example, sometimes shares it on her story, where if people call her out, she responds. Like, she just responds, she'll post it, she's not afraid to do that. And a lot of the time it leads to her just being blocked when she says something they don't like. So it's like, you're inviting us to have a conversation, but then you also just block us as soon as we try to take you up on it, which I don't really understand. The other thing is, just because we make content or videos reacting to MLMers doesn't mean that we owe them unlimited access to us. And no one, that goes both ways. They also don't owe us a conversation either. Like, I personally don't want to talk to most of them because, one, I'm just reacting to what they put out publicly. Like, I just have no interest in having conversations back and forth in my DMs. And two, it's exhausting to argue with someone all the time who you just know isn't going to see your views, and like, you're not going to see theirs, they're not going to see yours. So it's just not something that I'm interested in. But I also just think that it's a bit entitled for someone to think that if you put something out there that they owe you a conversation before they can react to it, when no one owes anyone anything. And like I said, that does go both ways. I could want clarity from an MLMer, but that doesn't mean that I deserve to get it and they have to answer me. And then she says, no one agrees with you and you have to get your followers and fake followers to like your comment 100 times to look like people agree with you, but no one does. Which I just think is really funny, because obviously there's tons of anti-MLMers, so I don't know why she thinks that none of us like would agree with CC or anything she says. I think it's pretty obvious that we would, but for whatever reason she thinks that it's all fake engagement to pretend that people agree when they don't. And then the comment she responded to was someone saying they don't even know that Walmart is a pyramid, and it's like, no, we do. We understand corporate structure, we understand having bosses, but that's not what makes it a pyramid scheme. Like, MLMers want to dismiss the pyramid scheme argument so bad by just saying, well, corporate America is a pyramid scheme. Every store is a pyramid scheme. And yes, technically they have the same structure where you have like a manager, assistant managers, employees, duh. But the reason why we think MLMs are pyramid schemes is because the paycheck, you have to pay to be in it, for one thing. You don't have to pay to be an employee at Walmart. So you have to pay to be in an MLM, and your paycheck is dependent on you bringing more people in under you as a downline. That is what a pyramid scheme is. And it's not even just us saying it. The FTC loops pyramid schemes and MLMs together. And then the other thing is, if you want to compare it to Walmart, is that the people at the bottom of the Walmart pyramid are still getting a guaranteed paycheck in which they know exactly what they signed up for. But anyways, we'll move on and I'll let her keep talking.
And my heart does go out to you. I'm going to say there are some shady companies. There are some issues with companies, and there are some ugly leaders, and there are some things that happen that shouldn't. I'm just going to be real. But you want to know what? That's in corporate America too. That's in different churches too. That's in the world, period. Why? Because we are all sinners. We are not perfect. And the fact is you have to remember that no company, no business structure, nothing is perfect. And you have to be able to get over the hurt that was caused to you. If you feel like, oh, you were preyed on by another company or by a leader or by me, gosh, you know what? I am sorry. I'll be the first person to say I'm sorry. The only thing I ever want for anybody is good. But it's not up to me to work your business. That's up to you to work your business. I will not overpromise. I will always overdeliver. If you have a problem that you're facing, I will help you solve it. I'll get on the phone with you. I'll chat with you. But the fact is you cannot say that I prey on people to join me. Now, yes, you join my team or you join any company, you have to put work in. You have to put work in. If you're hurt because you didn't get along with your upline and you're going on and bashing your upline or bashing the company or bashing direct sales because you didn't get along with your upline or the company or whatever happened, it's because you didn't work your business. Your upline is not your boss. Your upline is not going to make magic happen. Your upline is going to be there to support you sometimes. There are some that don't. But if they're not, then you go and you find the support and the resources to build your business and stop blaming other people for things that you are not able to do. And so a lot of times people will get on here or bash direct sales because it didn't work for them. Because they say, oh, well, you know what? Oh, that model, it's a pyramid scheme. I tried and I didn't make anything. I just lost money. Well, yeah, you lost money because you didn't work your business. You didn't believe in your products. You didn't treat it like a business. You didn't do the tasks. I'm going to tell you what, this business, this industry is not easy. I will never lie to you about that one bit. It is not easy. It is not, I do work a lot. I do take my business everywhere I go. I do miss some things because I get addicted to working. But that's any business. If I did it with Smack or if I did it with any other business, I would still have the same results. I would still go crazy and still want to build the relationship. Why? Because this is my ministry. This is what I'm doing. It's not about the money that I'm making. Yes, I'm going to say I do love to make money. Who doesn't? But at the same time, I love to build relationships much more. I know a lot of people on here that are from prior companies that I've been with that are thriving in other companies, and we still have relationships. So you think about it, and yes, we want people to be a part of our company. We want to build our business, but that's every business out there, whether you're in direct sales or not. That is business. So when you go off and you say, it didn't work for me, I lost money, I had a sucky upline, oh, that company was awful. There are some awful companies. There are some awful leaders. There are some awful churches. There are some awful priests. There are some awful cops. There are some awful human beings, period. That's life, people. That is life. And you have to remember that nothing in life is perfect. So when you go and you pinpoint an entire area like MLM and you try to dissect it, and then all of a sudden you're like trying to bash a person just because their excitement is up, they're not a bad person. They're excited about this company and you're just against direct sales altogether. And so you decide that you're not for them, that they have ugly this, that they look this way, that they talk funny, that they're not. It's disgusting. It's all disgusting. There are bad people all over. And you have a choice to be a good one or a bad one. And I'm sorry if you were hurt by another direct sales company or you felt you were preyed on. But I will tell you what, it's not direct sales. But in life altogether, there are bad people out there that will do the exact same thing. And to be honest, that's exactly what you're doing right back when you're standing for these people. You're preying on people in direct sales to go and bash them, to go to their pages, to make them feel worthless, to make them feel ugly, to make them feel insecure, to do things that are disgusting. So today, I hope this gets shared, and I hope, honestly, I do know that you can't change somebody's thoughts or your mindset.
Okay, I'm gonna pause there again because I kind of let it play for a little bit longer there. So she says, I do understand people have been burned by companies. Some are shady. There are some ugly leaders and things happen that shouldn't, and that's in corporate America too, or in churches, etc. and so on. And I'll say, yeah, true. That applies to anything. There's good and bad everywhere in everything. You can always find good, you can always find bad. But at least the people in corporate America are given a pay. And then she does say that she will not overpromise, which I appreciate. And she was kind of going on though the same way that a lot of people do by saying if it didn't work, you're the problem and that you didn't work hard enough. But you can't say that 99% of people didn't work hard enough in MLMs. That simply doesn't make sense. We've talked about that before. But at least she said you have to put work in, whereas a lot of the MLMers I find won't even talk about that. And then she says, if you're hurt because you didn't get along with your upline or the company and now you're bashing the company, it's because you didn't work your business. And stop blaming others for things you were not able to do. They bash direct sales because it didn't work for them. That model's a pyramid scheme because I lost money. That is simply incorrect. I lost some money in Beachbody, like I mentioned, though, like I said before, nothing compared to what some people have lost. But that's not why it's a pyramid scheme. It's not a pyramid scheme just because I lost money. If something was a pyramid scheme because people lose money, gambling would be a pyramid scheme because people lose tons and tons of money in gambling, but no one says that's a pyramid scheme because that's just not what makes a pyramid scheme. It's also unfair to say that anyone who didn't do well in an MLM didn't work their business. And to me, that almost comes off a little bit shady towards people who might currently be in MLMs that she says she's sticking up for, because lots of people are in direct sales not making money. So that might leave them wondering like, well, what's wrong with me? Am I not working hard enough? You know, am I not good enough? But again, like MLMers, and I'm not saying her specifically because she even said herself that you do have to work hard, but a lot of MLMers do pitch it as easy work that you don't have to spend a lot of time in. You'll have time freedom, time to spend with your newborn baby, etc., and so on. So it's unfair to then turn around and say, well, you just didn't work hard enough, when they're promised that they wouldn't have to work that hard. Like, that's the whole beauty of the MLM. And then she says, there are some awful human beings. That's life. Nothing is perfect. And you go and pinpoint an entire area like MLM and dissect it. And because you're against MLMs, you rip the people apart, and it's disgusting, which again, I would say that I could flip that and say the same. And then she says, I'm sorry if you were hurt or felt you were preyed on, but it isn't direct sales. In life altogether, there are bad people out there who will do the exact same thing, and that's what you're doing right back when you're standing for these people. You're preying on people in direct sales to make them feel worthless, ugly, and insecure, and to do things that are disgusting. And to me, that's giving very much like, I'm sorry you feel that way. And also by that logic, again, like I said, I could flip that and say the reverse and say, well, you're doing that to anti-MLM creators by grouping everyone together, dissecting them, tearing them down. But the thing is, we could do this, well, that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. We could flip that sentiment back and forth all day, but it's not constructive. It doesn't add to the conversation at all. But anyways, we'll keep listening. That was kind of what I had to add there, and let's keep going.
Like, you think about it, let's be honest, especially nowadays, like, you can't, there's some people that are for the COVID shot, some people that are not for the COVID shot, there's some people that are for Republicans, there's some people not for that are liberals, some people, you can't change anybody's mindset. I get it, but you can't speak out against hate. I don't mind if somebody doesn't agree with me or what I believe in, but the biggest problem is the hate that you're creating by picking out what people look like, how they sound, what they're doing. That's what you could change. I don't want to go and change if you believe in direct sales or if you don't believe in direct sales. I don't want to change that about you, but I do want to change how you respond to these people. Treat them humanly, treat them like their heart. You know, I just feel like that's the worst part is like, a lot of these people are not just saying what's wrong with the industry, they're really tearing people down. And so how are you ever going to get your point across if you are always tearing somebody down or how they look? Like, why would I ever want to believe an anti-MLMer if they're going to go and pick me apart and say, oh, look at her eyebrows. Oh, look at her voice or hear her voice. Oh, like, why would I ever want to listen to that? That's something that's like, I'm now like even more for direct sales. Like, I'm like, let's go. Let's like, you just basically gave us free advertisement, but whatever. I think that, and that's the thing is that you can get your point across so much further when you are not going at somebody disrespecting what they look like, how they sound, how they dress, what they believe in, judging their Christianity or their values or whatever. It's I'm sorry, I'm reading the comments at the same time. The things that you're creating is hate, and that's not going to help service anything that you're doing. Obviously, it does get a lot of people watching YouTube, which is kind of sad. I'm not going to lie. I sat there and watched her YouTube all. She got me watching and got me more pissed and more like, I think the comments may be the worst part in the YouTube video. And it's not just the one that she did on our company. Like, I was fuming about every company that she went over. It was not about the company or her stance. It was about how she would go after these people personally and take things from their page or what she thought they looked like, and took their most vulnerable state and trashed them. And so, and yet making money off of that. Like, you think about this, that girl is, you know, has thousands of followers. She has thousands. She's making money off of her negative and her hate, like on YouTube, because she does, her name is Cece Suarez. I wasn't going to say her name, but then I was like, you know what? I don't really care. It's Cece, like Cece and Suarez. And, you'll see a lot of Monate stuff, and she's really picking on Jessie Lee. And she recently did a video on Vic. Hey, congratulations! That's exactly what I said to the girl that she picked on. I said, congratulations, you just made us really big. So, you know, I guess that's, you know, when you get big and you start to grow and you start to get eyes, that's what happens. Haters decide to watch, and they decide to trash you, and you become in the eye of not only the good, but also the ugly. So I think about it as, you know what? Woohoo! Vic, we just made it big. You know, like, that's exactly my feelings is congratulations. Like, I mean, like, all the people that I'm noticing that she went after were way bigger than us, were much, much bigger than us. Like the Monates and the Jessie Lees and the Pruvia and the, like, I was like looking at them, I was like, dang, I felt like I should be doing a dance instead of getting upset. But then as I started hearing the things that she was saying, I was like, oh no, this girl's not gonna, I may not have a huge following like she does on YouTube, but I do have a following, and I do know that when you pick apart somebody's looks or what they're or how they talk, like literally the first clip in almost every video, she talks about how the person looks. Like in the first like few seconds, like, and then she'll start picking apart. Oh, it's so ugly. It's really, really ugly. So to me, I was like, you know what? I was trying to. Today I woke up thinking, okay, as I saw all this, I'm not going to respond. I'm going to just block these people. I'm not going to do much because they went after me on my Facebook page. But then I started working out and started really thinking about this. And I was like, you know what? Like, we're going to be persecuted throughout life for everything. And if I can't handle this, how am I going to handle the real persecution during the end times when somebody has a gun to my head and says, do you believe in Jesus or not? Like, if I can't be persecuted through Facebook and stand up for myself or for other people and say, this is not okay, how am I going to actually react to people when Jesus has me on the line and saying, hey, you know, or if he does ever, you know, like, here's the thing is persecution has happened for years and years. And to me, this is, I believe that we are to stand up and love people.
Okay, I'm going to pause there again. So to touch on that, I obviously let it go again a little bit longer that time, but she said you can't change people's thoughts or mindsets, especially in today's world, but you can speak out against hate. But the problem is the hate you're creating when you pick on someone's looks. But the thing is, that's what I'm doing too. Like, I'm speaking out against hate because I don't agree with the harmful things that MLMers say. And this doesn't just apply to her, obviously, but in general. I don't agree with MLMers like in the WFAB call where they basically told their downline, like, you don't have a right to speak to us about this and deal with it. And they're being pretty mean-spirited towards their own downline, or against the MLMers who say that their oils and supplements can cure diabetes and take you off insulin, or that it's the only protection you need against the pandemic, or that their weight loss product can help you get back to your pre-baby weight. All of these things are extremely toxic and harmful, and we see MLMers saying stuff like that all the time. And of course we're going to react to that because the thing is the companies won't. The companies don't even step in and put a stop to it until the law literally tells them they have to. So if no one's holding them accountable, like who will? You know, we have to. The people have to. And then to speak in the Christianity piece, because it keeps getting brought up, I have no opinion on anyone's religion at all. I always say this, but I'm more spiritual, not super religious. I'm open to the idea of God existing. I'm open to multiple gods existing. I'm also open if there's nothing. Like, that's... I respect that we don't really know or have concrete proof of anything, but I think any religion is valid, and I'm never gonna pick on someone's religion or tell them that they shouldn't be the way they are. But the reason why it gets brought up sometimes in anti-MLM videos is because a lot of MLMers, specifically a lot of Christian MLMers, do use what's called faith manipulation to recruit people into their business. I don't have the most information on that. I've talked about it a little bit before. Isabella Lanter, who I mentioned earlier, does have a couple of videos up where she talks about that. So I'm gonna link one of those down below for you if you wanna see more. But yeah, it's valid that it comes up. Like, I feel like she feels criticized because she's clearly Christian as well, like she mentioned. But the thing is that it's not about, again, bashing a religion. It's more so the way that religion is used to manipulate, and anti-MLMers simply report on that. But anyways, we will watch the last bit of the video here now.
You don't have to believe the same way as I do. You don't have to do the same, but I still believe in love and hurt people. Yes, hurt people, but that's also an excuse. Here's the thing. I'm hurt too. I'm not going to go. That's like saying, and this is where I started thinking about, and that's why I decided to go live about this. I was like, so a person's, does that mean they get to be a rapist? Like, because they've been like, hurt people. Yep, you're right. But that's an excuse. And that's not okay. It's not okay to say, well, I'm hurt, so I get to hurt people. Like, if you're hurt, then go to get some counseling, go get some therapy, go talk to somebody that, you know. And I feel like people are almost using that as like, oh, it's okay, they're hurting, so we should love them. I'm sorry, but I will love you, but I'm going to call you out on your BS. Not you, Danita. I'm talking about in general. I'm going to count those people out on their BS, because here's the thing. Hurt people, yes, they hurt people. But the fact is, that's an excuse for them to feel like they're allowed to do something, when in reality, no, that is not okay. You go get help for the hurt. You cope with it. If your coping mechanism is to trash other people, you take away your phone and you break it. Like, you do something to not do it. And that's, you know, you think about it, and I feel like we've said that for years. Hurt people, have compassion, so I've sat on the sidelines, I've sat back and taken a lot of blows for direct sales, because hurt people. But at the same time, I'm going to stand up for what I believe in. And I'm going to stand up that, hey, you know what? This industry does change lives. It does help people. We do see millionaires. I just saw Nicole Breeden. She's an amazing leader in another direct sales company that's done so well. And so when people tell me, oh, that's because they're praying, she's never prayed on me. She has never said, hey, come join my team. She's never said, she's always been a great friend and a person that's compassionate and caring and just loves people. And she's made that her mission, and she's done well because she cares. And so you think about it. And when they say, oh, you're in direct sales, preying on other people, there are not very many leaders out there preying on people. The most I've seen, and as a top leader, and I've built myself up a few times now, the most that I've seen is we actually care a lot more about people than, what they call prey. We definitely care about people, and we definitely go out of our way to make people feel special, and we definitely do the right things to build a business, because we are in the people business, and because God's called us to it. Like, when God's called you to something, and you know that, you know what, I may be an introvert, but he took me out of my comfort zone to say, you know what, you're going to do something here, and you're going to be able to share your life. You're going to be able to share about your circumstances. You're going to be able to share, about what I've done in your life, and how much, going from nothing to something, and I'm going to give you a voice to speak with. Everyone is called to different types of things. And the fact is this is what I'm called to, and I'm called to love people. And I just happen to do it through a company that I really do love, and I'm excited to grow, and I'm excited to sell their products because I love them. And so Fact is, we're not preying on anybody. We're trying to help people. And it's not even just about the products. It's about what it is that we can do in somebody else's life. Or maybe if that person needed somebody to talk to, or they needed, to learn how to have self-confidence, or learn how to go live, or learn how to put on their makeup, or learn how to be healthier or live healthier, or we get to have a product that allows us to utilize that and help them grow with that. So today, you know what? I just hope that this brings more people and more leaders together to stand up against those that are hating on us for the industry that we are in. Because to be honest, we are the ones that are being preyed upon. We are the ones that they're coming after. Like, I didn't seek after this girl. She's seeking after us and seeking after any videos that we post. I don't seek after the anti-MLMers until today. This is the first time I've decided to do a video just for you all. With love and grace, I just want to thank you all for joining, and do know that, you know what, we are in an amazing industry. If you are in direct sales, do have confidence, do know that this is an amazing industry. You just have to make it what you want it to be.
Okay, so that's the end of her video. I'm just gonna wrap up some final thoughts. She said that she still believes in love and that hurt people do hurt people, but that's also an excuse. And I actually do agree with her there, just because, while it's true, yes, hurt people do hurt people, I also don't think that that's an excuse to treat people poorly or to say mean things or anything like that. And you can have understanding and compassion for someone without just letting them basically like crap all over you just because they're also hurting. It's true, like, it's not an excuse. Ultimately, it is the individual's responsibility to look inward and do what they need to do to deal with that hurt in a healthy way, like going to therapy, just learning not to take it out on other people. So I actually do fully agree with that point, but I just don't necessarily think it really applies to the situation here. And then she said, we are not preying on anyone. But again, she can't speak for everyone. Tons of people, she even said herself, there are bad leaders and good leaders. She said that anti-MLM people are preying on them. But then again, like I said, we could flip-flop those sentiments back and forth all day. I could then say, well, she's preying on anti-MLM to get views by crapping on anti-MLM and saying that we're all haters. But I'm not going to say that because that's not reasonable. And then the last thing she said, which I found really interesting, is she said it's not even just about the products. It's about what we can do in people's lives. That's kind of the issue that anti-MLMers bring up all the time, because MLMs, especially the companies, will say, well, we're not a pyramid scheme. What separates us from a pyramid scheme is that we sell product. It's all about the product. Recruitment is just a side piece. But then MLMers will go on and say it's not about the product, just like in my last MLM fails video, which I'll tag up in the little eye thing. I don't know what side it's on, but whatever. One of the top Monate distributors had said like this whole big thing about how even if she never made a dime, that she would be in the MLM for all the personal development that she gained and stuff, and that it's not about the product at all, and you don't even have to care about shampoo or anything to be in it. Which is quite literally the problem. So that's kind of what I have to say about that video. I just want to post a little bit of her like stories slash her posts about this because they were super interesting too. This is kind of like follow up after the fact. So here's her story. There's a little blurb because I got this from another anti-MLM creator, but I'm just going to post it up here.
If you don't know, and you're like, see my stories, what the heck is going on? So a bunch of, well, the anti-MLM movement is now attacking me and everyone else that's in MLM, but for some reason today is my day, and it's not just me, it's a lot of other people as well with Vic. So it's been crazy, to say the least, and then it's just been something that I'm having to delete, block, do so much to, you know, not really save my business, but to make it so that it's not a hate-filled place, because that's all they're trying to create is hate, 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 and it's so disgusting and so wrong.
Okay, so that's that. And then Isabella, who is good friends with Cece. I'm sure if you follow any anti-MLM creators, you know that they're friends. So she posted on her story a while back. It's really small, but I'm gonna try to read like some of it anyways, but it'll be on the screen here too. But the gist of it is that she said, "Hey girl, just wanted to let you know that your cute Facebook video about Chelsea isn't gonna fly. You picked the wrong girl to lie about because now her friends are going to take on this project too, basically." And she said, you know, "I'm gonna be covering this whole situation, so keep an eye out for that." And then Mary, the MLMer, screenshotted that, posted to her story because Isabella did tag her, you know, she's saying, "I'm gonna talk to you about this, it's fine." And she said, "I'm pretty sure this is a threat. These anti-MLMers definitely are hardcore and mean girls. Over it, spoke nothing but truth, and do not threaten me." But that, I want to circle all the way back to like basically the very beginning of this video when I said keep that in mind, it'll come up later. But remember when she said herself, "You can pick me apart all day long, but the moment you come for my team, I'm coming after you." That's what she said in the basically the very beginning of her live video. So she wants to say that Isabella is making a threat by tagging her and saying, "Hey, I'm going to talk about the situation." You're also making threats, so you don't really have a place to call people out on that. And then there's this one, which is a short reel.
Hate MLM. Haven't heard that one before. You should go make a video talking about how much you hate a certain company or how much you hate someone. Because hate and spreading it really helps, right? Going and tearing down the way someone looks. Okay. Tearing down their dreams and ambitions and their goals. Spreading hate never works. When you have something that you feel passionate about, picking on one person or a group of people and making them feel less than isn't going to make it so that your thoughts are heard. Maybe they're heard by other people that love hate, but I'm going to tell you what, good quality people will not follow hatred because hatred is not something that we want in our heart and our lives. So learn to love people.
That's interesting. Again, I can say like you could apply that the other way around too and say, well, you're hating on anti-MLMers, so why should I follow you? But really it's like you're allowed to follow like-minded people, whether they love or hate or somewhere in between. Whatever you love, hate, whatever, that's fine. You're allowed to follow people with similar views to you. It doesn't make you negative. Like I said, you guys are super positive and cool and awesome in my comments. I don't find it negative at all. I don't lose sleep over it. I don't feel sad doing what I'm doing. And then she says because hate and spreading it really helps, right? And she's obviously being sarcastic. But the thing is, again, I don't feel like I'm spreading hate. Obviously you guys don't either because you watch my videos. But for her to say it doesn't help at all, when like the commenter said, Black Oxygen Organics was shut down and there's a lawsuit because they were found to be dangerous and full of shit they weren't supposed to be full of, it does do something to speak out about it, because when people speak out about it, other people can find out the truth. Like people would have still been taking that not knowing it was dangerous if it weren't for a hater getting it lab tested. Anyways, I just wanted to react to that video because it was really interesting to me to see. Obviously, like I said, there was some parts that I agreed with her at, but in general, I feel like MLMers just bashing anti-MLMers is no different than what they claim we're doing, even though it's not what we're doing. I'm sure you've seen a little bit about it already if you watch other anti-MLM creators, but I would love to hear what you thought of it down below, and hit that subscribe while you're down there. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!